My name is David Madison, the 26th of December 2020, and this is episode 10 in a series of videos required homework for Christians. Having served my time amongst church folks, serving two parishes for 9 years, I know a thing or two about what they need to learn. Now that Christmas is done, I urge Christians to look carefully, closely, critically at the traditional story of Jesus born in a stable surrounded by adoring shepherds, farm animals, and the three wise men, with a star twinkling overhead. No, this is not in the Bible. Read Matthew's version of what happened. It says nothing whatever about the day or the night that Jesus was born, not a word. The focus in the Matthew account is the arrival of astrologers to pay homage to Jesus. And this is actually embarrassing. Astrology is another feature of ancient superstition, but Matthew was okay with it. These astrologers knew so much that they didn't even know where they were going. They went to Jerusalem to make inquiries and found out that they should have headed for Bethlehem. Then the star begins to function as a GPS, the star they had seen in the east, and it stops over the house where Jesus was. Not a stable, a house. We know that stars don't stop over houses. Matthew took for granted that Joseph and Mary lived in Bethlehem. The house was where the astrologers could find the child. The Greek word is paidion, here probably meaning toddler. It's the same word as used in Mark 10:14, let the little children come unto me. So these astrologers, they get a makeover in this telling of the story by calling them wise men, don't belong in a stable on the night that Jesus was born. In this version of the Christmas fantasy, they arrive months later. For this to be history, Matthew would have to provide contemporaneous documentation for every detail. No, Matthew was making it all up. He was good at that. It happens a lot in his gospel. Luke, on the other hand, came up with a story that is just as strange and improbable. He thought that Joseph and Mary lived in Nazareth, so he invented a massive census ordered by the emperor, which required them to travel to Joseph's ancestral hometown, Bethlehem. What chaos that would have caused, having to go to your ancestors' hometown. It makes no sense. Luke mentions a census required by Quirinius, the governor of Syria, but that we know took place years before. Luke had to get Joseph and Mary to Bethlehem, so this was his clumsy attempt. Luke says that Joseph and Mary couldn't find a place to stay. Quote, and she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn, unquote. Luke then describes an angel surrounded by heavenly hosts telling nearby shepherds that the Messiah had been born in the city of David, so they rushed to see him. There is no mention of sheep and cattle surrounding the manger, and no wise men. Luke says that Joseph and Mary eventually returned to Nazareth. Matthew came up with the absurd story that Joseph and Mary took Jesus to Egypt, of all places. Devout Christian scholars have admitted for a long time that Matthew and Luke invented these stories. Mark and John skipped these bits of fake news. So, homework, Christians, find out why and how the Jesus story gets off to such a bad start.